Hi everyone, let's create our birds. So I want you to start with this worksheet here. It has the outline of the bird that I printed for you. And then you are going to look at these papers that have different types of these tropical parakeet birds on them. And I want you to look at the designs that they have, especially around the face. And we're gonna try and draw those designs. So I am going to look at, I like this one as an example because it's kind of the same angle as this one. So I'm gonna start by drawing with my pencil and then I'll outline with Sharpie. So I'm gonna draw the eyes first. Now you can draw two eyes or you can just have one and your beak to the side. I think I'm actually gonna draw two eyes. And then the beak. The beak is kind of pointy like this, but then it kind of rounds itself out on top of it. And then look at the markings around the face. There's lots of patterns, texture, little dots, little lines. You can even look at different examples that are more zoomed in to see the patterns on the face. So I'm gonna try and copy those patterns that I see. I see a lot of like striped texture patterns around the eyes. And I'm gonna put a little line here so I know where the feathers are going to start. And I think maybe I'll put a line here for where I want the wing to start, because I know the wings also have some of that texture on them. So I'm gonna draw that texture in here too. Let's finish the face though. I see lots of like these pattern dots and some more texture lines around the face. You don't need to add too much, just a little bit to show the design. And then I want to look at the wing. This is a good example of the wing to see those patterns there. It's nice to add some variety when you're drawing patterns so it doesn't look all the same. When you're drawing texture so it doesn't look all the same. Okay, I'm going to take my Sharpie now and I'm going to outline everything that I drew. For the eyes, I'm going to leave a little highlight. So I'm going to leave a little white space there and color in the rest. Outline the beak. Okay, once I finish, I'm going to take my eraser and if I have any extra pencil lines, just erase those. Okay, finally, I'm going to take a yellow colored pencil and I am going to block in the beak yellow. All right, now it's time to cut. So I am going to put my bird to the side, and what I'm gonna do with my value scale is I'm gonna start cutting some feather shapes for the belly of the bird. I am gonna use my Sharpie, you can also use a pencil, to draw your feather patterns. Now when you draw your feather patterns, you might notice that Miss Buettner has drawn one for you. That's because I want you to see what size you should be copying for the feathers. Of course, you can make your feathers look a little bit different than mine. That's totally fine, because not all feathers look the same. You can give them some variety, but don't draw your feathers really teeny tiny, because you will have to cut out all these feathers in the end. And if you draw them too tiny, they're gonna be really hard to cut and take forever. So let's see how many I drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you should draw at least 10 to 15 feathers, probably no more than that. Then you're gonna cut them out. Now I wanna show you an art trick. If I cut out my colors into rectangles one at a time, all 5 of my color values, watch what I could do. I can place them on top of each other and I can cut them at the same time if you think your hand is strong enough to cut. If not, you can try to cut 2 or 3 at a time and then cut these later. I'm just gonna cut them all at the same time because I think I could do it. Okay, I've cut out all my shapes. Now, if you do not have time to glue them down today, that's okay. We will work on this more next week as well. But if you do have time to glue, you're gonna take all of your shapes and it's going to be kind of like a puzzle. You're gonna glue them from dark to light, starting with the dark on the bottom. So using your glue, here's what I would do to save you some time. I would take my glue and just put some lines of glue down first on the bottom. Then I want to find all of my darkest values. You can split them up into nice piles so that you can see where all the dark, mediums, and lights are. And then I'm going to start gluing all the dark feathers down. I can do 1 or 2 layers of dark feathers, but I have to go all the way to the top. So I found some of my dark ones. I'm going to start gluing those down. And when I'm gluing, I don't want to leave a lot of space in between the feathers. I want them to be right next to each other. Nice and even, just like how feathers grow on the bird in a pattern. And I think I have enough to maybe do 1 more layer of dark. So let's put another layer of glue for the darkest ones. And if I run out, I do still have some scraps here I can use to cut out more. You may or may not have enough to do 2 layers. It's up to you. Okay, I've glued all my darkest layers down. Now it's time to add another layer of glue, and we're going to glue the second darkest layer down. And if you look at my colors here, you can kind of see it's getting a little bit lighter. So it's like a puzzle. Find all those pieces that need to go next. Oops, I think this one is actually a medium one. I'm gonna move that one up. So you might notice as you go that, oops, I put down the wrong value. I can see that it's the wrong color, so I'm just gonna move it to the side. Okay, finished my mediums, and now I'm gonna go to my regular blue that I had, my color hue, my color with no mixing, so that's the one that's right in the middle of the value scale that you painted. I think I'm going to stop with that one because I notice I don't have a lot of space left, so I'm going to go to my lighter values now. All right, it's time for my lightest value. Those are gonna go right on top. And if you notice, if you look carefully at my feathers, they're overlapping each other a little bit. So they're kind of going on top of each other like feathers do on real birds. Okay, I think I finished my feathers. Look at how I don't have a lot of white space in between. They're layering from dark to light, and I think I'm finished. I don't need these scraps anymore. You can give these to Miss Peter though, and we can save those for other classes just in case someone needs extra feathers. Finally, what you're gonna do in the background is you're gonna take a paint stick. Choose a color that you think would stand out against your feather color. I chose orange because orange is opposite of blue on the color wheel. It's the complement of blue. So that means it looks really good when you put it up against blue. It stands out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shade in this whole background all the way around the bird. Okay, and when I finish my background, I'm gonna put this on my drying rack. Now you might notice that you have a little space on the bottom here where your bird kind of ended its body. You can cut that off if you like. All right, I am finished. Happy creating, boys and girls.